Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Common sense is not common. And the thing is, I understand people are going to disagree with me. People disagree with me on a day to day basis, especially politically. When it comes to Democrat and Republican, I understand. And at the same time, I understand the difference between being heartless and having empathy and thinking about others and having compassion. Yeah, so I understand being a Democrat, yes. Um, but I don't understand, especially with dating apps, especially with white privilege, and especially with white cis able-bodied men. There are some there I mean not some of them are people of color too, which dumbfounds me. It's like I can't really say I'm shocked, but okay. I've said this before, but I'm gonna have to say it again. Your political party is not a nationality. Your political party is not a race. A political party is something you can change. So, you might I know some people who, while growing up, changed from Republican to Democrat. And then I know some who changed from Democrat to Republican. And then I know some who have been Republican all their lives. And they tell me that they are Republican because they are Christian. And I've heard pastors say, if you're Christian, then you're Republican. You are not allowed to vote any other way, or especially Democrat. And this is when we highly disagree because, for example, right now, Republicans are taking money away from veterans. So people who risk their lives and who are in medical and financial need sometimes. And then we are taking money away from kids who are hungry. They say they're pro-life, especially when it comes to the babies and things. Oh, and speaking of that, there is a woman on life support. They are only hanging on to her life basically as a human incubator for a like and it's a complicated subject and things, but it's to the point where the country is taking the power over our bodies and we have no choice at all, especially women, especially women. But that's just one example. And if you've been listening to my episodes, you already know that, especially my last episode that I had up yesterday, where this no good, okay, in my opinion, this ignorant, poorly educated, arrogant, awful, terrible, racist bigot. Yeah, it's like she wanted to put all of the blame on black people when it comes to the racism and hardships and situations that we are put in. And I'm not saying we are perfect. I mean, there are some things where I'm like, okay, God, for our future generations, let's change some things, or let's look back at history. Let's look at the times that they hated us. Because ironically, all the times that they absolutely hated us is when we were starting to do better than them. So let's get back to that. And why a lot of men hate me, because with my standards, my list of standards are everything I am. And a lot of men hate that, especially the education one. I used to date the high school dropout. He blackmailed me to enforce me to be his girlfriend. Catch up on those episodes. But Mr. No Heart and his racist, no good, bigoted mother and family members. The ones who say because I mean, I keep saying this because she's not the only one who has said this or claimed this, especially when it comes to dating. A lot of especially white men tell me that I only got into college because I'm black. But then some of them got into college and they dropped out. They left, they quit, they got kicked out, whatever situation. But then they tell me that the only reason I got in, but the thing is, especially if we both got in, I stayed in. I graduated, I finished. And then I went back for another degree and finished. Then I went back for another degree and finished. Then I like tapped into some certifications and finished three of those. But then men want to blame me or tell me that I only got it because I'm black. But the thing is, even, you know what? Even if that was the case, I finished. And so sometimes I wonder, are they jealous that I finished? Or are they mad that they couldn't finish, or that they quit, or that they're being looked down on, or that as white men they feel like by proxy, by automatically they are supposed to be more successful than me. So that means if I if since I did finish, there must be a catch to it. And so, when it comes to dating, especially politics, especially education, those are kind of like the top two where men hate me. And yeah, I just laugh about it because I used to second guess myself when guys would tell me, choose me or your education, because I don't want an educated woman. When I would have men tell me, what kind of man would want a smart woman? And or after I got the education, you're not allowed to tell my family members your education. Or, like, once we are married, you're not working. I'm not going to allow you to work. And then when I tell them, how are you going to allow? I'm a human being. I can do what I want. So then when I break up with them, because I'm like, no, you are not going to set rules with me. Isn't that right, Mr. Snodgrass? Because, yeah, he was one who told me that I had to quit my work, quit my job, even though it was connected to my MBA, my master's in marketing. He told me I had to quit it because he was jealous. Long story, but, oh, and it's like, I just don't get it. If you're going to be jealous of a woman, but then you still want to date her, why do you want to date her? And especially like on with the dating apps, if someone lists their standards, because I see people list, if you like Biden, don't bother, you're stupid, you're an idiot. If you're vaccinated, you're a moron, you're gonna die in a few years anyway. I've seen so many things. I've seen people do the hail, that, yeah, oh, it's disgusting. And that one's buried in my picture, so I will show that. Especially, that'd probably be like the Patreon kind, but yeah, I have over, in total, I have almost 500 photos of the terrible, awful, ignorant, racist, bigoted men who write me or who swipe right on me. And okay, that's the thing. If you're gonna swipe right on somebody just to then call them the N word, just to then call them Jim Crow, just to say black people aren't supposed to invest. Are you stupid? Are you crazy? Oh, you're a woman. Why do you want to own a business? I hope your business fails. Or since I don't have children, because I was trying to do things the traditional way, but then a lot of, especially, yeah, I keep saying the white men because most of the messages are from white men, especially Republican white men, especially MAGA white men. Yeah. But when they even write me and tell me the only reason you want to adopt and foster is so you can get a check from the government, the only reason you want to adopt is so you can get attention and you can brainwash them. And I'm just like, what? Is because sometimes when with dating, I tell men I want to foster an adult, or foster and adopt. Yeah, I want to adult. It's like, oh, adulting all day, every day. It's like, I know kids shouldn't be watching my videos, but if you could just tell your kids, appreciate being kids. Because once you cross that finish line and become an adult, it does not end. Childhood ends. Adulting doesn't end. Well, it does, but when it does, you're 6 feet under in a grave. So, yeah, just. Because the thing is, why do these men swipe right on me anyway? It's like some of them want to call me the R word, they want to call me the N word, almost any other word. But it proves why they are single. Because a dating app is to try to find someone you're compatible with. But and oh, that reminds me, with Meet Me, there's this whole group of people who they live stream just to bully people. That's their entitled reason of being on a dating app, is to go around and troll and bully and dehumanize people. That's all they do, and that they do it for fun. And part of me is just like, this is why you're single. And most of them, yeah, actually, most of them are MAGA too. And it's like I said this months ago, but it seems like a lot of bullies or retired bullies that are coming out from retirement, they're MAGA. They like to push people down, dehumanize, and belittle people. That's the pattern I've noticed. That's the pattern I've noticed. But why swipe right on somebody just to put hate on them? And then in some of this, in the profiles, they have pictures of them with a Jesus cross, like they're religious. Okay, so you're gonna put me down for having a difference of opinion, and this is why, like when that one idiot, in my opinion, he's an absolute idiot, like said that it's a contradiction of being open-minded and never dating somebody that is Republican. When I keep seeing the awful, hateful, deceiving, ridiculous, inhumane things that are going on, and they are still cheering this on, no. And then they don't have the common sense to see that instead of seeing somebody who is not interested in them, being like, okay, let me talk to someone else. They've got people like this, in my opinion. All of the things I say in all of my episodes are my opinion. But Jesse, that no good, bigoted jerk of a racist, poorly educated idiot, yeah, it's like he keeps wanting to talk about my weave or fake hair and things like that. And it's just like, okay, so if you're not interested in women that try to, protect their hair and things like that, I can see you're probably not going to agree with the Crown Act. And see, that's another political thing that Republicans voted down. And so sometimes people say, oh, I'm not political. But then when I start bringing up things into politics that they never thought of, they're like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Wake up and read. Wake up. And that's why I am woke. I've said this since episode 1. But you've got all of these men who they expect, either they write women they're not attracted to because they know they're just going to be turned down from all of the other women that would possibly that they would hope have interest in them, or they're just bored. I mean, because they keep telling me to get a hobby. I need to get a hobby. You're writing me. It's like with all of these men, I have never written any of these men first. There's been 2 or 3, especially when they try to call me the N word, or they try to say like that Democrats are racist and things like that. That's when I'm like, okay, because ma- majority of them know. There's one, he has literally written me a dozen times. Each time, even talking about how he wants Biden to pass away and things like that. Absolute disgusting people, in my opinion. I'm just at a point where if you see a profile and they don't match up with you, it's called just swipe left. It's called keep going, keep looking for someone that values your opinion. Someone who, when you wake up with, you think, oh my gosh, I am so happy and blessed to be with this person. And not everyone's going to do that. And I'm one person. And so when a lot of the men on the right especially tell me I need to go out with them or I need to date them so they can set me right, so they can teach me things, so they can tell me why I should have never gotten vaccinated. Let's think really hard on that. In my opinion, they're idiots. I disagree. Why would I want to date someone I think is an idiot? And you're not going to like, and it's funny how a lot of the Republican men, oh, I want to debate you. I want to talk to you because I think I need to knock some sense into you. Or I think I need to convince you. I need to, like, once you talk to me, you're going to change your mind. Next thing I know, I prove them so wrong. Or they try to tell me I need to shut up or be quiet. Or this is why women shouldn't be going to college. I've actually had a lot of white men say, this is why I should have never gone to college. Because especially when they're like, oh, where'd you get that information? So then I show them a government, site. But then whenever they're like, oh no, but see, this is where I got my information. And it's normally either Fox News or one of those Republican people that got paid off by Russia or some nonsense or whatever. And it's like, okay, but where did he get his sources? Where did he get his information? Because there's a big difference with if you got the information from a educational source, a credible educational source, and then just somebody willy-nilly. And that's the thing, like that's why with a lot of my episodes, I share links. I share things so that if you think I'm talking out of my, whatever, you could see that these are my sources and or this is how I gathered my information. I am able to do that. I am capable of doing that, but a lot of men that I'm seeing on these dating apps can't. But then when men see that I already don't want to date them because I know we're not going to be compatible, and that's another thing. Men say, be open minded. And yeah, I've talked about this in another episode, but it kind of relates to the whole open mindedness. Don't all people have criteria when they date and marry? Especially a lot of people, they have an attraction. I'm attracted to Democrat, liberal, progressives. I am not attracted to apolitical or Republican or MAGA. Yes, I include apolitical because apolitical, they will watch people lose their rights. They will watch people lose their their needed funds and money. They will watch people become homeless and just shrug their shoulders and say, "Oh, well, both sides are the same," and crap like that. So, they're not a good fit for me. They're not a good fit for me. But I know this, and so I put this on a list. But it's crazy how men are allowed to put standards because I've even seen where men write their standards, but then they talk back to me or they write me, and then they tell me what's wrong with my standards. But I'm looking at their list and I'm like, well, why did you write me? Because I will never fit your standards. Okay, I'm not going to be a stay at home because there are some men who say they want the traditional woman or they say they want the obedient woman, submissive woman. No, I'm not that. I'm not. And this is one reason why about a year ago I realized I'm never getting married because I'm never going to fit into that submission. Never. So I'm not the type to marry. And there was this one older gentleman, I think he was like 45 or something. Last week or earlier this week, he wrote me and he wrote a Chinese phrase, but it means leftover. And it's crazy because I'm like, you're on a dating app and you're older than me, but you're calling me a leftover. So aren't you a leftover too, or is it only for women? And yes, I know the definition, quote unquote, is, but it's funny how he's single. He's older than me and single. And looking at his profile, like, oh, he would never. Like, men act like women are supposed to be desperate at a certain point when I want to be happy. And some men don't care if women are happy. They just want someone they can hump, someone who will make their dinner, someone who would like be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so interesting," even though it's really boring. Did I ever tell you guys about the guy who, I mean, he was muscular and he was kind of handsome or whatever. He's a twin. He is like, I'm trying to remember, like, he loves video games. He has snakes and temporary mice, which sometimes I'm like, oh, these mice don't even know what's coming to them. They don't know their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I remember, like, one reason why I stopped talking to him was when when we talk, he would want to talk about raisins and oatmeal for like a half hour. Raisins and oatmeal. I mean, and it's like, okay, if you can make that topic interesting, okay, but he didn't. And it was torture, and it was awful and terrible. And so I drifted apart from him because I'm just like, I've got things to do. I've got things to create. I've got a bit like, because even when he would text me, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm working on my next book. And he would call me and be like, oh, yeah, well, you can do that anytime. It's like, I want you to talk to me now. But then these men wonder why they're not in relationships. So only when a man has goals does it matter, but when a woman does, it doesn't. Because I've noticed that too within my relationships. It's like men literally tearing up my goals and dreams and aspirations, but then they want me to always cheer them on, listen to them, engage with them with what they're doing, or even give them money for their goals and things. And at the end of the day, it's just like, huh, okay, so like they're just absorbing and taking as much as humanly possible. And it's not fair, it's not right, it's not, no. So, ladies, if you, or gentlemen, because maybe some women are like this too, but remember, I've only dated men. If you are in a relationship and it feels like that they are always taking, they're never giving, and or they only give when they know that you've had enough and you might leave them, that's a sign, that's a hint, like, especially if you're not married yet. Because some men might wait until you get married and they're like, okay, now it's too late because now you're mine. So even if I stop, you will still can't leave me. Or I'm going to make it as complicated as humanly possible for you to leave me. That's when you're going to see the monster. And that's another reason I never want to get married, because I have met men who, it's like, even if we're not married, they try to figure out ways to make me feel guilty, or make me feel like it's my fault. No, don't do that. Run. Run. If they can't apologize, or if they can't sit down and go over the things on both sides of the table, run. If they try to gaslight you to make it like everything is your fault, run. Because when I told you guys about me breaking up with Mr. No Heart, I had that phone call strike, and I waited for him to respond to me. He still never called me. He's still not. I should have waited until he called me, because I waited until he texted me. Yeah. April, May, June, July. That's a long time to not message your girlfriend, especially after she had major surgery and things and had to go through physical therapy and countless tests. Yeah. But then he said I was not allowed to say that he'd never loved me, but I know for a fact that man never loved me. He only loved the money, he only loved to take advantage, and he only loved, yeah, I'll just leave that, like, yeah. If you've been listening, you already know. But at the end of the day, when just like when you guys look for somebody, look through the whole profile. And also for the white guys, or for maybe for all, nationalities, but it's like, if you're going to vote a certain way, if you're going to date a certain way and then vote a certain way, make sure they align. Because if you're actually going to try to date somebody who you're literally taking their rights away, do you really love them? Do you really care about them? I don't think so. And I know it's like from one of the, I believe it was the Catholic priest that came to visit our church. They said it was 40 different ways to say love. And I might do an episode or a series on that too, on the 40 different ways. And I know that agape is like the highest level in things. But if a man can't even call you, if he can't even give you your needs, and or at least some of the needs that you need in order to be fulfilled in life, or to feel happy or accepted or appreciated and or loved, it's time to run, it's time to go. Trust and believe that. And when it comes to Republicans, it's like, if you have no problem dating a Republican and you're not Republican, do you, boo. But I just gotta say, look at the full profile, because right now a lot of people are filing for divorce. I am seeing a lot of people file for divorce, and some of it is because of politics. Some of it's because of being bow chicka wow wow, but majority is because political things going on, and them finding out different views in life that can connect to politics. And why not date and love somebody? Like, and yes, I know looks to most of us matter. And for some people, as long as they're 6 feet and taller, as long as they have a certain height or weight, as long as they have certain features of with their bodies or hair color or whatever, I understand that. But at the same time, like like, even especially on Hinge and Facebook dating and stuff, I go past the picture. It's like, because I don't care about the picture until I see political status. And it's like, that's literally each profile. I'm like, first, okay, political status. Oh, conservative, left automatically. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what they look like. But if I see liberal, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's look at this. Okay, let's check it out. If I see apolitical, I swipe left. Because if you don't care about my rights being taken, I don't have time. Okay, I don't need to care about you if you don't care about me. At the end of the day, I just say, look at the whole profile. And also, politics change, people can change, but if you are political like I am, and you meet someone who is not in alignment with your political views, dating wise, that's going to be trickier. I would say at the beginning, go over those topics hard. Yes, okay. And knows that some beautiful books have terrible stories, terrible plots. Some of these stories can't even get a climax, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. So, thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.